This morning you probably cracked an egg into a pan without thinking twice. You didn't pause. You didn't hesitate. You just did it. The same way billions of people have done it every single day for thousands of years. But somewhere, a very long time ago, there was a first time. A first person standing in front of a nest, looking down at a small, smooth, oddly shaped object that had just come out of a bird. And that person decided to eat it. Who was that person? What were they thinking, and why did it work? To understand this, you have to go back. Not just a few hundred years, not even a few thousand. You have to go back to a time before fire, before tools, before language as you know it. Your ancestors were foragers. Every single day was a search for calories. Roots, leaves, insects, fruit, whatever didn't run away fast enough. Food was not a pleasure. Food was survival math. Calories in versus calories burned every single hour of every single day. And in that world, an egg was basically a miracle. Think about what an egg actually is. It's a perfectly packaged bundle of fat, protein, vitamins, and minerals, sealed inside a protective shell, sitting right there in the open. No chasing required, no digging required, just reaching out and taking it. Anthropologists believe that egg consumption likely predates much of what you'd consider human behavior at all. Some researchers, including those studying early hominin diets, point out that nest raiding may go back millions of years, long before Homo sapiens existed. Other primates do it. Chimpanzees do it. Even some monkeys do it. So the real question isn't really who was the first human to eat an egg. The real question is, when did eating eggs become so normal that nobody even remembers a time before it? And the answer is, it was never not normal. It's older than humanity itself. Here's where it gets strange. Your brain right now has an instinct buried deep inside it. An instinct that says, round, smooth object found in a nest, probably food. You didn't learn this instinct from a cookbook. You inherited it. Researchers studying early human diets, including work associated with paleoanthropologist Richard Wrangham, have explored how access to dense, easily digestible foods like eggs may have played a role in supporting the energy demands of a growing brain. An egg isn't just calories. It's concentrated calories, ready to absorb, with almost none of the tough fiber or chewing effort that plant foods require. For a species that was slowly evolving a bigger, hungrier brain, that mattered. A lot. So picture it. Not one dramatic moment with one brave person and one egg. Picture instead a slow, repeated pattern happening over and over for millions of years across countless individuals. A bird flies off its nest. Something with hands and curiosity wanders over, finds something smooth and warm, cracks it open, maybe by accident, tastes it, and it's good. It's really good. That experience gets repeated again and again, across generations, across different hominin species, long before anyone who looked quite like you walked the earth. There was no single first person. There was a behavior so useful, so calorie-rich, so easy, that it simply never stopped happening. But here's the twist that makes this even stranger. Eggs aren't just food. In nature, an egg is someone else's future. It's a chick that hasn't hatched yet. And yet, across the entire animal kingdom, almost nothing treats that as off-limits. Snakes eat eggs. Raccoons eat eggs. Lizards, monkeys. Birds eating other birds' eggs. Eating eggs is one of the most common feeding behaviors on the planet. Why? Because an egg can't run. It can't fight back. It can't even see you coming. From a purely evolutionary standpoint, it's one of the lowest risk, highest reward meals that exists. Your ancestors weren't being clever when they started eating eggs. They were being efficient. And efficiency over millions of years is what survival is built on. Now here's where the story gets a little more recent and a little more human. At some point, probably tens of thousands of years ago, something changed. Eating an egg you happened to find was no longer enough. People started actively seeking out nests, watching bird behavior, learning patterns. Where do these birds nest? When do they lay? How many eggs at a time? This wasn't random anymore. This was knowledge, passed down. And then even later came the real shift. Instead of just taking eggs from wild birds, humans started keeping the birds themselves. Domestication of chickens is generally traced back roughly 8,000 years, with archaeological and genetic evidence pointing to regions in Southeast Asia and South Asia. Researchers studying chicken domestication, including work published by teams analyzing ancient DNA, have suggested that early chickens may have been kept initially for reasons that weren't purely about food. Some evidence points to early uses connected to rituals, or simply having a reliable, low-maintenance animal nearby. But once chickens were around all the time, the eggs were too. And once the eggs were always there, eating them stopped being an event. It became background, it became Tuesday. This is the part that should feel familiar. Think about how many things in your life followed this exact same pattern. Something starts as rare, risky, or special. Then it becomes available. Then it becomes normal. Then, eventually, you stop noticing it at all. You don't think about how strange it is that you eat the unborn offspring of a bird for breakfast. You think about whether you want it scrambled or fried. That's not because the strangeness went away. It's because your brain stopped flagging it as strange a very, very long time ago. There's a concept in psychology sometimes called habituation. It's the process by which your brain stops reacting to something once it becomes familiar enough. The first time you hear a loud noise, you jump. The 100th time, you barely notice. Eggs went through this exact process, except the timeline wasn't days or weeks. It was hundreds of thousands of years. So when you ask, who was the first person to look at an egg and think, yeah, I'm going to eat that, you're asking the wrong question. There was no single moment. There was no single mind. There was just a behavior, useful enough, easy enough, and rewarding enough that it got carried forward by every single ancestor you've ever had. Every meal of eggs you've ever eaten is the end of a chain that stretches back further than language, further than fire, further than your species itself. And here's the part that should really sit with you. This morning, when you cracked that egg without thinking, you weren't doing something new. You were doing something so old, so deeply wired into what it means to be human, that it doesn't even register as a decision anymore. It's just instinct, wearing a frying pan as a disguise. So tonight, or tomorrow morning, when you crack open another egg, take half a second. Just half a second. Because in that tiny, ordinary moment, you're not just making breakfast. You're continuing something that started before there were people at all.